Don't forget folks, before we go any further, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, ring the bell and all that jibber jabber, and thank you very much for supporting Invincible Asia. It is with great sadness that fans of the Asian film world are to mourn once again in the loss of veteran Hong Kong actor Stanley Fung Shui-Fan, who passed on October 31st, 2025 at the age of 81. Just days before his passing, Stanley had posted a tribute to his old friend and fellow Hong Kong actor Ben Hui, who had only died earlier that week. It read, "Wait for me on the other side, dear brother. Your foolish elder will follow soon." Born in Foshan, China on June 1st, 1944 to a Cantonese opera family, Fung was an outspoken citizen of the Republic of China, often voicing his political views and praising his Chinese identity after moving to Taiwan from Hong Kong, where he had lived from the age of 6. Throughout his career, he starred in both film and television projects in Hong Kong, China and Taiwan, starting his career in the late 1960s, appearing in films such as Sweet Sword, Sky Dragon Castle, The Singing Killer, The Comet Strikes, The Deadly Duo, and The Proud Youth, among many others. While still working in film, Fung joined TVB in 1971, where he worked on a number of TV shows before moving over to CTV in 1976 for a couple of years before their collapse. But by 1980, Stanley Fung had found his niche in comedy and secured a role in the box office smash hit Security Unlimited alongside the Hui brothers, Sam, Ricky and Michael, who also directed. He would join Ricky Hui soon after that in John Woo's horror comedy To Hell with the Devil as one of Satan's sidekicks on a mission to harvest souls for his master. 1983 would see him play a significant comedy role in Danny Lee's cop comedy Oh My Cops alongside Kent Cheng and Wong Ching, but it would be his role in Sammo Hung's fantastic Winners and Sinners that same year which would gain him notoriety in the West and secure him a role in the many sequels to come as the Lucky Stars gang member known as Rawhide. These sequels, of course, would be 1985's My Lucky Stars and Twinkle Twinkle Lucky Stars, Lucky Stars Go Places from 86, Return of the Lucky Stars in 1987, Ghost Punting in 1992, and How to Meet the Lucky Stars in 1996, as well as a character cameo in the Sammo Hung produced Pom Pom in 1984. Of course, in between each of those films, Stanley Fung would star in a host of other great titles, as well as continue his TV work, with the 1980s proving to be the busiest decade of his career. Aside from appearing in many Sammo Hung produced films, such as Wheels on Meals, Owl vs. Bumbo, Those Merry Souls, Where's Officer Tuba, Mr. Vampire 2, and Dragons Forever, among others, Fung would star in comedy hits like Wong Jing's Crazy Companies 1 and 2, The Romancing Star Trilogy, The Ghost Snatchers, They Came to Rob Hong Kong, and the very fun Vampire Buster, among many others. But the 80s would also secure his Western fan base when he was cast as the love-torn chief of the Tiger Squad in the Jackie Chan-produced Golden Harvest film The Inspector Wears Skirts, directed by Wilson Chin, originally released in the West as Top Squad. Lusting after Sybil Hu's character and fumbling his way through life, you can't imagine anyone like Inspector Khan genuinely being employed to run an important police squad like the Tigers, but Stanley Fung makes it work and is hilarious in the role, as he always is. Of course, the film gained a few sequels in the years that followed due to its great success, and saw the relationship between Stanley's cancer and Sybil's Madame Wu blossom, eventually getting married, which was great to see. The 90s would see Stanley's film role slow down somewhat, with only 16 productions listed between 1990 and 1998, as opposed to the 64 he made throughout the 80s. While some of these were the aforementioned sequels of both those famous series, Fung starred in films such as Stephen Chow Sing-chi's hilarious Lookout Officer, Wilson Tong's Lam Ching-ying horror comedy The Musical Vampire, and Larry Chung's horror flick Devil's Vendetta. But he would also make memorable appearances in Sammo Hung's Gambling Ghost, Colin Chow's ghost comedy Shy Spirit, and others. While he flitted in and out of movie roles for a good decade after, Stanley Fung didn't really come back onto the scene until 2009, when he made an appearance in Johnny To's fantastic action film Vengeance, and delivered a fantastic co-starring role in the Toe-produced, Soy-Chung-directed thriller Accident as the aging uncle of a gang who is fighting dementia. In fact, his performance here was so strong that it bagged him a nomination for Best Supporting Actor at that year's Hong Kong Film Awards. Clearly it worked, and soon after, Fung was leading the way again in films like the I Love Hong Kong series, a group of films similar to the All's Well Ends Well series, produced by his Lucky Stars co-star Eric Chang. Films like The Winner Takes It All and Marrying Mr. Perfect would follow, as well as the welcome role of the Grand Uncle in Stephen Fung's highly entertaining Tai Chi Zero and its sequel Tai Chi Hero. From there, roles in Little Big Master, Robbery, and Buddy Cops, among others, would see him through to the end of his career, with a role in the Tony Leung Kao-fai directed Midnight Diner being his last. Although he finished with almost 140 film credits to his name, I must note that Stanley Fung Shui-Fan wasn't just an actor of film and television. He did, in fact, write and produce some of the 10 films he had directed. Making his debut at the helm back in 1974 with the Betty Ting Pei drama The Looks of Hong Kong, Fung Shui-Fan went on to direct the Golden Harvest produced and very fun Phantom Killer in 1981. A martial arts mystery thriller starring Wei Pei, Tian Feng and Eddie Ko. He would follow this with The Goofy Gang in 1987 for D&B, co-starring once again alongside leading man Derek Yee, Joyce Cadenzi and Mei Lo. 1988 would see him direct 2 more features, this time under the movie Impact banner, the company behind films like Magic Crystal, City Cops, Outlaw Brothers, Curry and Pepper, A Moment of Romance and so much more. The first of these was a rom-com called Love Soldier of Fortune, starring the man himself alongside Alan Tam, Maggie Cheung, Michael Moy, and his Inspector Worskert's co-star, the great Sandra Eung. But the second film took him back to familiar territory with old friends, which was Return of the Lucky Stars, this time minus the legendary Sammo Hung. Sticking with movie Impact, Fung would next direct Family Day in 1990, a crime comedy drama of which he would also lead alongside Ken Cheng and Carrie Eung. 1992 would see him direct the comedy Ghost and Me, once again starring himself alongside Sandra Eung, Wu Ma, and old friend Billy Lau. Then, in 1993, audiences would get to see another side of him with his directorial effort Thrilling Story, another drama thriller that would see him appear with previous co-stars Carrie Eung and Melvin Wong. While his directed works were quite often well received, his last 2 features would be lesser so, both in budget and reception. After giving us the crime drama Kidnap in 1994, Stanley's last directorial effort would be a TV movie from the year 2000 called The Big Friday, where he would star alongside Anita Lee and Chung Shoi-chit. Thankfully though, as previously mentioned, Stanley Fung would keep us entertained over the following 2 decades with his acting talents, leaving a lasting impression with many, having entertained us in some of Hong Kong's finest films with his laughs, charm and roles throughout his career. Rest in peace, Stanley Fung Shui-Fan. You will be missed.